Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Here we have our base coat down on this, and what we want to do is we want to seal that. What I've got, whoops, as I spill, I'm using a sponge, so cleanups are easy. This is what I have. It's the Sealcrete original waterproof primer sealer. All I'm doing is I put it in a plate, I have it on a sponge, and I'm just going to sponge it on. So it starts out white and it dries clear, and we're just coating and sealing. Right? Pick up a little bit more, and it's nice because it goes into all the cracks and seams. We can pick up any extra that we have lying around on the top. You can see the color change, which is nice as it soaks it in. And all I'm doing is pressing it in, letting it run down, make sure I got everything covered. Alright, we're not worried about having too much. We're just dabbing and covering. And why I like the sponge versus a brush is a sponge holds more, it gets down into there. You just sponge it on, it keeps the texture, which is really nice. That's what we want to do. We want to keep our texture. Pick up anything that's coming off the sponge. All I did was, this is just a sponge I had lying around. I used to do tile work and whatnot, so this is a cleanup sponge for tile work if you're doing grouting and whatnot. I think it's all of a couple of bucks at any home improvement store. So super simple. We're just applying it. It will dry clear, even though it's a milky white when it starts. And this is the same stuff basically that I've used time and time again. It's going to have a little bit of a shiny sheen to it, which is fine. It will wear down. It will dull up over time. Just covering. Super easy, super simple. Seals your concrete, seals your color in. Helps create a little strength. Got just enough in here. What we did, just poured out a little bit onto a plate. That's all I did. Sure we've got coverage and we're in every little nook and cranny. Place that looks a little dry. Gotta make sure you get it in there. And if you feel you got too much anywhere, you just use the other end. Just sop up a little bit extra. That's all you gotta do. Up everything we got. Just going over some extra areas. Now the nice part about this is, once this is dried, is that we can then take some of this, we can tint it with our tinted colors. And we can start adding color in here and there, adding just little things, right? So that'll be nice. And that's it. It's that simple. We've now put a clear coat onto there. That's going to dry. Once it's dry, we'll start layering colors on top of that. So super easy. We'll get you into that next process as soon as we get to that point. And we're just going to let this dry, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we've got it dry. Maybe hard to see, but I got a little bit of color right here. It's a dark brown. What I'm doing is adding a little bit of our clear. I'm going to start mixing it in. It's going to give us a nice brown to play with. It's just a brown wash. That's all we're looking for. Okay. Now we've got our brown wash. We're going to take, I just want to cut a little piece like this. That's all. Unique little shapes, stuff like that. We're going to dip it in, and we're going to start adding in our color here and there. Okay, now I can lay it in, and then I can take the other end and start taking some off. What it's going to do is going to lay up in areas. Bring the top color back in. And just sponging it on to take a little bit of the harshness out of that highlight. Come back in, we'll grab a little bit more. Just laying it in where I want it. It's just basically like a wash. Okay? So I want to darken it up a bit. I can do that with this. Through. Doesn't have to be everywhere, just where you want it. Alright, take it a little there. Darken it up areas. The color comes through now, see, because I haven't put a ton in. I basically am going to get a bit of translucency through this, which is what I want. And I can create layers. So I'm creating a dark line, dark layer going across this, which is what you see in nature, right? You see little bands and stuff, so I can kind of create that down into here, which would be really nice. Darken up our, got an extra, I got a little extra down here. Darken up our areas. Hoping to basically kill some of the hot spots we got going on with our really bright color. In here, create a flow water line in here. This would be like a stain line, or water sitting in. Water obviously goes up to a certain level. I'm just creating that line. Darken at the bottom, because obviously that's where a lot of the dirt and debris will go. Hopefully that shows up on camera, what we're doing there. We're going to continue to darken that line, too. Just light stuff through here, just break it up a bit. Alright, it doesn't take a lot, just doing a little color on top, and then I can come in with different colors. I can brighten it up a little bit, I can do all sorts of different stuff. One of the big advantages is I can now take this, and I could, not a great one to do it, oops. A little dark splash. There. Just pick that right up. There we go. Take a flick. This just helps give it a look, a speckled look. A little too much like I just did. Just dab it off with the sponge. This is not the best brush for flicking. You really want like a fan brush or something like that, but make do with what we got. There we go. A little bit more of the look I'm looking for. I've got a drip. Let's pick it up. And it's minute, you know, it's just a small little detail. May or may not pick up on camera. Definitely looks good in person. And this just creates spotting that you see, natural staining and whatnot in stone. Let's go over here. There we go. And that's it. Now we wash up and we can let this dry. Actually, one of the things I've been doing, if you got one, take a little heat gun, put it on, and just dry it. And it'll dry much quicker this way. You can then jump onto the next layer of whatever you want to put in. I'm keeping that color. You can already see that's a lot darker up into here. Happy with that. That waterline looks good. Really helps define that. You can tell when it's dry, your little droplets will stop shining so much. It doesn't take very long. Alright, so now I want to lighten this up a little bit. So we go to our color, and it doesn't take much, just a little bit. Might be too much right there. We'll see. And just take a little bit and you lighten it up, make it a different color. Take more than I thought it would. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Just doing a tester, just to see. It's a little dark. So just add color a little bit at a time. You don't want to overpower anything. You can go back, you can get black and go back and change your color, lighter, darker. I don't have white, that's the big key here. Okay, like that. So that's gonna look nice. Alright, so now I've got my second color. Go back in with my sponge, I'm gonna pick up some color. And I want to see where I'm gonna dab here. A little across there, pick up the extra, a little down here, pick that extra up, a little down through here. Always going through and just little areas here and there where I want to kind of drop in a bit of a highlight, just barely touching. This is a better highlight color than the one that we had a little before. Not as bright. That's good. Get down around the base. I like the color for the base, so we're gonna go ahead and use it. Get a little more. Tap along in areas. And the beautiful part of this is again we get that translucency, which is really nice. And just touching here and there, just where I want to maybe lighten it up a bit. Right? And again we can take this, some splatter. Just like this, very simple. There we go, that's a good little splatter. We can get away with a lot more with this lighter one. It doesn't really show up as much, but we can get a little bit, which is good. Alright, that's looking good. We'll go ahead and grab our heat gun. Dry this up. Nice and even. Probably speeding this part up just fine. Let's see what spot I should have hit here. What color in there? There we go. It was a little gray. Always keeping gloves on. Back to our dryer. If you don't have a heat gun, you can do this outside. It definitely, in the sun, will dry a lot faster. You can do a lot of different techniques out in the sun that you can't anywhere else. Get a little, shake it up. Some lamp black. I'm just mixing it in with what I got. There you go. Got a much darker color here. I didn't want black, I wanted something that's nasty looking. More of a brown in here. And this I'm just going to dab on with the paintbrush in certain little areas. Alright? So thinking, where's the low spots? That's what I want to hit. In little cracks. Think about where the water would lay. Just kind of leave it in there. And then I'm going to come up my little crack here, to here, and then I want to come down where it would spill over. Darken this whole thing up. This is where all the dirt and debris that would spill out, it would flood. So we're creating that little flooded area. Come back with the sponge and just touch it here and there. It's got that lighter color on it, which is fine. Same here, just do a little bit right down into here, come straight down, spill out onto the ground. Just like that. It's looking good. It's looking real good. I think I'm going to take a little bit and just put a little down here. You can probably see this. Okay, come in with a rag and dab that. Hopefully you can see on camera, it creates a little bit more of a divot in there, shows it, because that's where the water would be running down. Just a little stone, put that back in there. Alright, we're going to go back to our dryer. Do this part up for us. Okay, now we got this really dark stuff. I can come in and I can touch in to certain areas. Come in with a fresh piece of sponge and get that out. And what it does is it leaves it hung up on the inside there. You get a little bit more contrast, right? Just down it into places. Excellent. Any place that there's a little crack or a line that I want to accentuate a bit, I'm just touching it in, dabbing out. You can see the color coming off. A little bit in here, and dab that off. A little line right there I want to. So I'm getting the color inside of where I want, get it down in there, and then I can wipe off and reveal color, but get that accent in the line. And that's what we're looking for. A little here, a little there, tap, tap, tap. Did a line here, that's a perfect little line right here, so I'm going to dab it into that line, into that crack, and I'm going to come along and just tap it and remove all the other stuff, but I accentuate this crack, right? Just like that. Got a little one down here. Looks like we missed a lot of concrete in here. Should probably come back and we'll fill that in with some concrete. It's a bit flimsy versus being solid. See, it's solid. I know it's flimsy here, so I didn't do this corner here, and that's fine. And again, we'll get to it. Just looking around, see what I want to accent a little bit here. Dab, dab, dab. Some of these lines here I definitely want to give some accent to. Again, and just clean up those top edges. I'm using the flat part to take off the top stuff, but not the other stuff. And it's just little details like this, right? Just coming in and do that. Tap, tap, tap. Accentuated something. Tap, tap, tap. Little things like these lines here. I want to show them off a bit more. Just tap in. It's pretty darn good, I gotta say. You can do things like wash around on a spot, so you want to just darken a little area up, just a little. It's still there, but not all of it. Right? You know, I can use this and do some like dry brushing. I'm just tapping the side of the brush. Get in there. It creates a little dark. There. Little dark areas on the rock. And you just keep doing layers, right? This is the key. You don't have to do a lot. Just do it in little layers around. You know, if it's getting too dark for you, get a little lighter color. Start tapping just like this. Get your brush going. Take the most of it off. The majority of it. Really get it tap, and then just come along and just tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. It's going to create little areas. If you don't like it, just pick it up. Tap, tap. Accentuate things. That's the whole idea. So I'm just hitting the top parts, whatever's sticking out, right? And that's the way stone goes sometimes with it. It's got stuff on top of other stuff, right? I want to hit this with some. Needs a little more interest to it. Tap, tap. Here. I'm going to try to use the side of the brush, not the tip. Yeah, it's looking better. I like it. Side of the brush. A little tap in there, beautiful. All right. So I'm going to let this dry now, and then I'll put it in the light, and we'll get to see what it looks like in the light.